Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the renowns of the Cartels of Undermine and how you can boost your renowns and obviously farm them as efficiently as possible so that you can make progress. So in the Undermine there are 4 major cartels. There's the Blackwater Cartel, the Steamwheedle Cartel, and the Venture Company Cartel, as well as also the Bilgewater Cartel. Now, to access or gain reputation with a specific faction, you will have to first activate your contract for the week. So what you'll need to do is you'll have to speak to Katie Racketeering. Racketeering, basically, inside the Intercontinental Hotel. Speak to her, click I'm ready to sign a contract, and you have to choose a faction. So you have the 4 different factions here, and you can choose each one. Now you, much like the Weaver faction, have the overarching reputation. So you have the Cartels of Undermine, which is your overall renown with them. This will be for your rewards track, and then each individual faction has some rewards based on your growth with them. So they each have a quartermaster that will have certain rewards locked behind them. But to get access to the world quests and to start earning specific reputation with a certain faction, you'll have to speak to Katie, select it, and click continue. Once you do that, world quests will spawn on your map. So now how do you earn reputation with the faction? Well, it's pretty simple. Basically, your major and your first section will be the weekly quests. So if you speak to Smack's Top Skimmer inside the Intercontinental Hotel, you can pick up 3 weekly world quests: Many Jobs Handle It, Reduce, Reuse, Resell, and Urge to Surge. These require you to basically do 3 scrap heaps which spawn around the area. You can then also do the Surge pricing event, and then you have to complete 10 jobs. It's not the hardest to do, it doesn't take you too long. Obviously, if you're looking for more information on those, you can take a look at my Surge pricing event. Each of these quests gives you 1000 reputation to the cartels. So for example, if you take a look at the Many Jobs Handle It quest, you will see that it gives you 1000 rep for the faction of your choosing, and also 1000 rep with the overall cartel. On top of that as well, you earn reputation from just farming the world quests. These spawn frequently throughout the week, so try to maximize them as much as you can to obviously get yourself a fair chunk of reputation. Next will be killing rares that you find around the map. These will show up with their spawn icons. Rares can give you reputation daily, so it depends on the size. There are 3 types: normal rares, elite rares, and cartel summoned rares. Cartel summoned rares are the only ones that spawn or show on the map, at least like this. Some will show up closer as you get there. These rares will give you 100 rep daily, whereas normal and elites will give you 20 and 50. Then of course we have completing the major quest line. There is a major quest line that you need to complete throughout the course of the War Within, and right now chapter 1 is available, and as you get to certain checkpoints within it, you will get basically a whole bunch of reputation. So it's definitely something that you want to do. You will get one basically as you complete each chapter of the storyline. It gives you quite a bit, 2500 renown for the major cartel, and 1 to 200 for each of the sub ones. And then finally, the last method of obtaining the different reputation is side gigs. Side gigs become available infrequently. They're daily quests, and side gigs can be picked up at the Slam Central Station. You don't need a certain renown rank to unlock them, but they are pretty valuable. They give you 50 reputation, but like I said, they pop up daily, so it's another great search. Sorry, it's another great source, thinking of the surge pricing event, of Renown. Amongst all the side quests, there are also certain quests like Operation Floodgate, the Delve quests, which you can take from PAX Top Skimmer, that all give you quite a significant chunk of Cartel Renown as well, so make sure that you do those. It will be quite helpful. So let's talk about the track rewards before we talk about anything. So for the Cartels of Undermine, most of these track rewards are based with Season 2. So for example, Featherstone upgrades, you can pick up the profession recipes, you can pick up some buffs that help you a lot with the various mini games and events around the Undermine. For example, buffs to the scrapping function, buffs to the job function. All of this is just simple, straightforward stuff. You can also get restored coffer keys, weathered crests. You can get certain tabards, but mainly it's valor stones, crests, and upgrades to the various mini games. Your big one will be Chetting In at rank 13, which will give you another avenue of valor stone / reputation generation with the machine that's up on the second floor of the Intercontinental Hotel. You'll gain access to farming certain collectible currencies, which you can use to exchange for certain transmogrification items, and just in general, you will unlock progress. Eventually, you will obviously unlock the ability to get a mount. I think it's here, it's at 15. No laughing matter. So you can purchase a mount from Smack's Top Skimmer at this rank, which obviously is pretty good. The main quartermaster for the entire faction is Skips, so Smack's Top Skimmer. This guy sells you the most gear and loot overall. He sells you some interesting technique contracts that basically gives you some extra reputation for the cartels, and this is something you may want to pick up if you're really looking to farm these guys as quickly as possible. Then you get different techniques and recipes that are available. You also get profession knowledge, which helps as well, and you can pick up some champion level gear as well if you're lucky enough. There's also some cool mounts, as I mentioned before. And of course, beyond all of that, tons of transmog. There's also the Top Skimmer special mount, which I'm sure many people will want. And there's also some very special upgrade items to your vehicle for the drive, mount, riding items. So again, really cool stuff. I think overall, a ton of incentive as well for players. So there's definitely some cool stuff here, but he's not the only vendor for the cartels. So he's got a ton of great stuff, but then there are also a whole bunch of other vendors as well. So we'll go visit each of them individually now. The Steamwheedle Cartel can be found inside the VAT Works building, and it will be Lab Assistant Leslie. She sells you some pretty cool stuff, mainly being some stuff for your item, the cool EP companion, and you can pick up the mean green flying machine mount, which is a reskin of the mount you get from Scrap Heap. So pretty cool stuff. Obviously you need to upgrade your faction with her, but yeah, really solid. The next one is Rocco Razboom. You can find him here inside the scrap shop building, and he will sell you the rewards for the Bilgewater Cartel. Now he has also mainly some toys, but he does have the red skin of the hyena mount, as well as also a red coat of paint for your drive vehicle. So pretty cool as well. The next is Boatswain Hardy. You can find her in the Port Authority building in the Blackwater Marina, so this building over here. And you can find her at the back, and she sells to you the Blackwater Shredded Deluxe MK, which I think personally is one of the cooler mounts from here. She also sells the blue coat of paint for the vehicle, as well as the Wave Breaker Mechasaur, which is a cool and very cute little mount as well. But you will need Exalted with her to get all these rewards. In fact, you'll need that with all of these Quartermasters as well. Shreds, the Scrapper, can be found here at the Venture Company, Venturewood Plaza. This is over here in this section of the Undermined, and basically he sells to you some pretty cool stuff. The Orca Rocket Delivery, a yellow rocket, the Rocket Fist Companion, and of course as well a yellow coat of paint for your vehicle. Now, on top of the 4 standard sub-factions that you have, you also have 2 special sub-factions. So the Gallagio Loyalty Rewards Club, which you can only level through the raid. We'll talk about that. And then you get the Darkfuse Solutions, which you can only access after completion of the main storyline. So the first major chapter of Undermined. You will need to complete the Undermined achievements. Once you've done that, in the Intercontinental Hotel, you will be able to click the overly sealed letter. This will give you a quest where you can go speak to your prospective business partner, which will then unlock the Darkfuse faction. To speak to the target, you will have to come to this location in Hollow Hill. You will have to click the sewer grate, and then you will jump down the sewer grate, and you will get access to the Sitch Lowdown, who will be the Quartermaster for the Darkfuse. Raising your renown with the Darkfuse requires you to get Market Research. Market Research is an item that can pretty much drop from anything inside Undermined, at least anything that you can defeat. So, for example, rares, for example, just normal mobs have a chance of dropping, Undermine Cartel rares, elites, any kind of special mob has a chance of dropping Market Research. The best method of getting Market Research, generally speaking, is going to be the chest rewards at the end of a dig, and also moving around the map and farming the various rares that you find there. Those are going to be what gives you the most Market Research as a player. Now, to maximize the Darkfuse, you will need to get 8,400 total Market Research. So you can see here, the rare here, Gallagio, dropped 5 Market Research. The chest itself also drops Market Research for us. So we got 18 there, which is pretty good. You need 8,400 in total to max out your Darkfuse rank. To claim the reputation for the faction, you do have to go back to Sitch Lowdown, the goblin that initially gave you access to the Darkfuse, and you have to purchase from him a box of Darkfuse miscellany. So you have to buy this to be able to increase your renown with the faction. On top of that, the Darkfuse actually have a bunch of rewards. So for example, you can buy a couple interesting items like the refurbished goblin rocket, which helps you move around the map. You can also pick up some interesting little things. For example, this canister, helpful for your drive function. A cool mount, the Darkfuse Demolisher, probably what most players are going to be looking for. The prototype auto advertiser, the experimental goblin fuel supplement, electropuncture test model, a nice Darkfuse lowdown coat, and just in general some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that's the Darkfuse. Now the Gallagio, basically the Gallagio Loyalty Club, this one can only be upgraded by participating in the raid. Once you unlock the raid, whether it's your LFR, story mode, etc., you will unlock the Gallagio Loyalty Rewards Club by speaking to Paula Piranha in the beginning of the raid. As you can see here, it has its own rewards track, and this track includes a ton of rewards, including upgrades for the raid, ways to do increased damage, new boosts, new everything. And this also unlocks a cool mount as well. So really some cool stuff. you can buy a lot of it from people inside the Intercontinental, but there are a couple mounts, there's a couple rewards, there's just a lot that you want to do. Now, of course, the way to progress in this faction is to actually defeat rares. So, for example, beating bosses inside of the raid will net you some renown for the faction. It will net you, I believe, depending on the difficulty, anywhere between 450 to 600, which is the second to last boss, and the last one will basically be worth 1,000. So Gallagio will be worth 1,000. Now, as far as I understand, this does scale per raid. You can only gain a maximum of 2 renown per week with the Gallagio Loyalty Rewards Club. So you can only get 2 renown levels, 5,000 renown in total, with them per week. Obviously, just as a disclaimer, in terms of like gaining renown, you can catch up. So if you are behind or you're starting fresh on a new character, you can catch up. You don't have to, for example, you don't have to basically do it all straight away. You don't have to play every week. You will be able to catch up. The raids do drop more than 5,000 renown. Plus, as far as I understand, doing it on higher difficulties will net you more renown as well if you have to. Now, obviously, the renown and the loyalty are something that's going to be very important. You can see here we've gained 100 loyalty by defeating trash mobs, by the way. The renown and the loyalty are super important in terms of being able to essentially like give you progress. So there's a lot of big buffs that spawn with Gallagio Loyalty Rewards Club. Things like new pets, but also just flat straight buffs. Like at rank 13, you'll get a damage and healing buff worth 13%. So obviously that's going to be, essentially quite a big role in it. Obviously there are 2 mounts that you can get from this as well. So this will be the Thunder Drum Misfire, and then it will also be the Chompactor, which is here. And yeah, that's that pretty much sums it up at this point. So that's how you handle the Gallagio Loyalty Rewards Club. Obviously, my suggestion would be to run it on any character. It is account wide, so you can only gain once per character, but definitely you should be doing at least the very minimum LFR at least once a week to try and max out or get at least a little bit of rep progress should you plan to raid at any point throughout the expansion. So that's that for the renowns for the cartels. I hope that is everything you need to know. Obviously, you want to push it as much as possible. Try to get there as quickly as you can. The rewards are great, and obviously all the sub factions each feature a ton of little transmogs, mounts, etc. So there's plenty incentive for farming them. That's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.